it gave me a lot of satisfaction to know that kids could count on me. And it's a little worrisome, but it's a drill, so in the back of your mind that really nothing's going to happen. The one time in all my years of teaching, the one thing I forgot to do was lock my door, because you have to you have a whole list of things. You have to put a piece of paper in the window and close the blinds in your window, and you have to lock your door, and I had forgotten to lock my door. And so when they come and they open every single door, they could open my door. And it
Was this for a shooting drill?
Yeah, it was a shooting drill. And so I have all the kids behind the desks, and they were able to walk in, which was terrifying. And it was really scary. So it really brought home to me how much detail you have to keep in mind when something like that, when you're practicing something like. But that's why you do practices. That's why you do drills. I never did that again. Obviously, I learned my lesson. So it's a weight on your shoulders when you have other people that you're responsible for. But for me, that's always been a thing I can handle, and I fall apart later. Just because I think the stress and the adrenaline, and you're doing the right thing. And like I found my father when he was having his heart attack, and I started 911 and I started CPR, called 911, and he went off to the hospital. He passed away not long after that, but I fell apart afterwards. But in an emergency, I'd been so well trained from my upbringing that you do what's necessary, and you don't let the emotions crowd in on you if possible. And then when the emergency passes, everything kind of floods you. You're flooded with adrenaline and all that extra emotional stuff. But in the moment, you do it's almost like an automatic. You automatically fall back on that training that you have.
The day that you didn't lock the door, did the emotions hit you at that moment or when you went home?
Probably later that day, because I had to get right back into teaching. It wasn't something I could sit down and worry about. And it really upset me that I did that. But on the other hand, I thought, well, in any bad situation, what are you going to learn from it? That's what's most important. What are you going to take away from it? And what I took away from it is that you got to go down that checklist in your mind, or whatever's on the wall, and you have to make sure you've done every single thing. So yeah, it hit me hard later at the end of school, and I was embarrassed and I was ashamed, and I realized that could have, had that been a real situation, it would have been horrible. It would have been absolutely tragic. So that's how we learn, or hopefully that's how we learn.